It's that time of the month for my July reading wrap up as well as my August setup and my reading journal. So stay tuned. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you that are new, welcome. My name is Tracy and I am a girl with plans. I want to thank everyone for pressing that play button today. It really does mean a lot that you are checking out this video. So it is time for another setup as well as a recap and my reading journal. So I am using a B5 Archer and Olive journal. It's getting pretty thick. I'm loving it. I love the size. I will be probably sticking with the size. And I'll get into how I plan on decorating it, but you can see the sticker book that I've chosen, and I also have some stamps off to the side. So my reading recap is probably going to be pretty short because I only finished 3 books this month. So here is the month of July. I've already written everything down here. So the way I do this is I actually draw out a calendar and then I use a dot marker to indicate the book that I'm reading, and then I put a dot on the days that I'm reading it. That way, if I'm overlapping, if I'm reading a book as well as listening to a book, then I will have 2 dots and I'll just look down here to see which one I do. Now, what I usually do is put a big F next to it when I finish it for like start and finish. So that way, if like for this one, I'll show you a perfect example. Actually, this month is a prime example to do this on. Thought I had a pen already out, but maybe not. Okay, so like They Wish They Were Us. I actually started that on June the 30th, so I won't have an S there, but I will put an F here because that is when I finished the book. And then the dark one, I started on the 5th, and then I ended on the 8th, so I'll do like that. So that way it kind of indicates if I don't have an S, then I really started it the month prior, although I don't think I indicated that here. So that's how I do it. This one I have not finished. We'll talk about that in a moment. And this one I finished on the 1st. So that's kind of how I can kind of do a quick glance. I really like using my dot markers. Like they are dot markers, but if you didn't have a dot marker, you can do just a line or make your own dots with a regular mild liner or marker or what have you. It's fine. I just really love it. I think it looks neat. So yes, I completed 3 books. I'll go over them in a moment. You can see most of them here. I read 23 out of 31 days last month. I will say I didn't read as long, meaning like each night I might have read anywhere between 30 minutes to an hour most nights, where like previously sometimes I would be like 2+ hours. Some of these books really weren't keeping me in. It wasn't like I couldn't wait to see what happened for any of these. That kind of meant that it took me longer to read them. I did finish 1,568 pages. I'll get into that a little bit later. I did try to listen to books, but when I was trying to listen to them, I was trying to multitask and I really wasn't like focusing on them enough to understand them. So I'm not really going to count that. I did not DNF any books, and my overall rating was a 3.5 star, and I still have 2 books in progress. I gave 1 4-star and 2 3 stars. Oh, those were a little over 3 stars. They were not full on 3 stars. So that is kind of the wrap up. What I'll do is I'll talk about those books as I'm doing it. I kind of did here. Here's my like review page. You can see I haven't printed out the book, so I'll put the book cover here, the book cover here, and the book cover here. So that's kind of how I'm doing things. But I think we might do some things a little different as far as this goes. So of course I'm halfway in this book, a little over the halfway mark in this particular reading journal. This is my first time in an actual like bound bullet journal for a reading journal. So I'm kind of like learning things, learning what I like, learning how I can make it better next year. I'm like so itching to like start a new reading journal. It's like crazy because now I have ideas. I kind of just threw this together at the beginning of the year when I decided to move from a disc bound to an Archer and Olive one. Now I'm not going to go through everything else. Like I'll write here the stuff later. I just went through the stats with you. But like I didn't have any DNFs, no 5 stars. Here we'll talk about that in a minute. I've not updated that. A to Z, I have nothing to add. Here I am in the middle of my July buzzword. I'll chat about that when we talk about the books. But first, what I think I'm going to do is this is going to be my August page. I think I'm going to do August pages. I'm not sure. I'm trying to figure it out. So I usually have it over here. And now that I have this over here, I do like it over here a little bit better. But we're seeing, I'm playing around. I went through and I counted how many pages I have left between this and this. And I have pages if I wanted to do 4 pages per month. So like 1, 2, 3, 4 per month. I have enough with a few pages at the end in case I wanted to do some kind of wrap up here instead of just at the beginning. I have spaces for wrap ups here. Like here and stuff, but just in case, so I have plenty of room. So I'm like, let me try to do another 4-page spread by maybe doing more of a cover page here with maybe a TBR here, and then here would be all my books to read, books I've read this month, which being I've only read 3 last month, I have 4 written down for last month. You can see here. I can like write it all around there and I don't have to just stick to it. I don't know if that's going to be cool. We'll see. I'm just trying out new things. So that way next year when I start my bullet journal, maybe I can like be a little bit more cohesive with my monthlies than I am right now. So this side's going to be kind of cute, but I am going to do a TBR here. And then that will leave these 2 pages open for a little bit more stats and things like that. I don't know how much I'm going to prep for the stats. Like I know I like this stuff, but you even see here, I didn't fill it all out because I don't know how many stars I'm going to have for my book. So like, obviously I didn't read as much, but even on the months that I read quite a bit, how many did I read this month? So like I read 6 here, but I still only had 2-star ratings. It's like 4s and 3s. Now they might not be full 4s or full 3s. It might be like 3.5, 3 1/4. I don't get that much into that, but some of these are a little much. I might go back to that where I did the stars and then just wrote the numbers beside it. I might go somewhere like that, but let's see. Looks like I was at a 6. Let's see. There's an 8. But look, 8. Here are my stats for that. So we're going to see. We're going to play it around. Like I said, this is all of a test to see how it is. But I can go big and bold here as far as for the month of August. I don't know. I do have monthly stickers. Do I have big August? I don't think so. I know I have plenty of date books and stuff like that, so it's not like a problem. So finding the word August, I don't have any big alphabets. I definitely need to invest in some big alphabets. That is what I have determined. That's not big enough. I'm not sure how I'm going to do this because I was kind of looking at this one and like all of my maybe sticks and stuff are a little like too bright for this. It's more of like your basic reds and stuff. So here is my stamps. So those are big, but they're all lowercase. I mean, I can probably still do it. You can see where they stain. So with the stamps, I got this off of Temu. I absolutely love this. And then I cut a piece of paper, colored paper in between each one. So that way I could see it. Some of these I had to cut down. Like this was one big stamp sheet. So I just cut it down. But I do like keeping it in a book than how I usually had it. All right, so let's see here. Let's see. All right, that's fine enough. All right, let me wipe these off so it doesn't stain. So I'm going to put stickers down over here and I'm going to chat while I'm putting stickers down about, so this set that I'm using, it's very summery, springy. You have 2 different pages and you have duplicate sets. So maybe I'll use the 2 that have kind of already been used a little bit. So this will work here. All right, so I'm going to chat with you while I do this because I don't have to think. I don't think as much while I'm putting stickers down as I do like when I'm putting stamps down. So I'm going to chat about the books I read first. And then I think I'm going to chat with you about kind of like maybe why I'm changing things up on like how I'm like organizing this or whatever. So I read 3 books. I guess I could turn it like this too. I think that's what I want to do. So I finished a total of 3 books for the month of July. One book I read a little bit more than half, and that book I'm actually counting the pages that I read for this month's tally, and then I'll count the remaining pages for next month's tally. And I'm doing that because it's a pretty big book. And I'll tell you why I took a break when I get in the middle, after I'm like talking about all these other ones. Like I said, it wasn't the best reading month for me. So, and what I mean by that is I didn't love all the books. So the first book I read was They Wish They Were Us, right? I think that was the book. I have to sit here and think about it. I'm going to be flipping back and forth because I'm doing a 4-page spread and putting stickers. Like when there's like these corner pieces, I am going to go ahead and throw them on the corners so I remember to use them. So for that book, it's interesting how I came across that book. Probably should bust out some washi. All right, now that I pulled the washi, now I can finish talking. So, ooh, here's another pretty one. All right, so They Wish They Were Us. The reason why I read that book was because I am doing the Buzzword Reading Challenge, which is, where is it? Where's my challenges? The Buzzwordathon or whatever. It's somewhere. It's hard to, all right, this one. So like each month there's a prompt. And for the month of June, which I started reading in June, but finished it, I started reading the last day in June, so I really read it in July, was repeating words. So it just had to have a word in there more than once. And that could even have been like any word. So it could have been like the, and, or any word. But I read They Wish They Were Us, so they were in there twice. This was a book I probably would have never read. I literally picked it up just for the challenge, and I'm really glad I read it. It was such a good book. I don't know if I would have said it was a good book like any other time. It's just I've been so heavy into romance and my fantasy books that sometimes I feel like when I read a book from a different genre, I really like it probably a little bit more than I might have any other time. Which definitely means that I probably need to kind of, I don't want to like go lighter on those genres because those are my favorite genres, and those are going to be the books that I am going to spend a couple of hours each night reading. But it does mean that like sometimes if I'm reading too much fantasy, am I going to be a little bit harsher on my ratings because I'm just kind of over the same kind of storylines, because a lot of them do seem a little similar, especially when you're reading them all back to back. So whatever, beside the point. So I really, really enjoyed this book. It was a like YA mystery thriller type book. So basically you have a group of high school seniors, and they are like part of this cool kids club where it's almost like a secret society type thing. I don't want to get too much into it, but yeah, I kind of think you can say it more like a secret society. They're you know, like they have access to like old tests to help study and everything like that, and there is like initiation processes and stuff like that. So that's who we're following, is the group of seniors. And we learned pretty early on that there was there were 2 other members of this group early on. And basically, this friend group or like going to be initiated. However, one of them died, and then the other one was convicted of their murder. So you're kind of like going through like the stories of them reaching their senior year. They're finally like head of this secret society. I don't really want to call it a secret society. I mean, that's what they kind of refer to it as, but I don't really want to call it a secret society. But they're finally on top. They get, you know, they get to start and they get to be in charge of like initiations and stuff for the incoming freshmen. because that's who gets initiated. Like once you're in all 4 years type thing. So that's what they're kind of focusing on. And then, you know, we hear flashbacks about like this death that happened early on, and you get like bits and pieces of that to try to figure it out. So it's definitely intriguing, and I liked it because you have the murder mystery. Yes, there's someone behind bars, but then it's kind of like, ooh, did this person really do it? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. So you're kind of trying to figure that out. However, at the same time, wasn't there another? Yeah. However, at the same time, there's other stuff going on that's interesting. And I like books like that, because sometimes if it's all like a murder mystery or all a mystery, sometimes it could get a little stale. But if there's something else going on, it becomes intriguing enough that you're just kind of like, you really get invested into the story, and it helps you kind of get connected to the characters. Because if it was just like a mystery, a murder mystery type thriller or whatever, it's sometimes, for me, it's personally hard to get, you know, connected to the characters. Let me grab my dot marker, because I already have one I need to go ahead and do. Actually, I'm not, because I don't want to put Light Lark on here, because I finished it yesterday, but I literally had like 10%. So I'm not going to put that on here because that'll just confuse me. But let's go ahead and start with the colors that I'm going to use. Actually, it doesn't seem like I have that many colors. Now, I don't know how many books I'm going to read, so I do need to keep it a little, like, I can't go crazy with my little dots, but like I'll do a dot here. But now I have more room. Okay. I just wanted to make sure I didn't put stuff on there. So yeah, I thought it was a really good story. I don't think I can say that it was anything surprising that kind of happens. I mean, once you kind of get the gist of what happened, it's kind of like whodunit type thing. And that was just interesting. But I thought it was a fun read. They're at an elite school, and that's kind of the thing right now. Like if you turn on Netflix or anything like that, you have all of those shows, Amazon Prime and stuff, with like the students at the elite school. So that's kind of going on here too, stuff like that. So definitely it was a fun, easy read. I think it is kind of more of like an older YA, not new adult, but like older YA. So it was like, I could see myself having read that back in high school or even in college. But at the age I am now, I still enjoyed it. So I didn't like read super young or anything like that. So that was my first book that I read. The second book that I read was, what is the name of the series? But it's like the Peter Pan retelling. And I read the dark one. It's the Lost Boys, the Vicious Lost Boys series. That's what it is. I just had to ask what it was out loud for it to kind of like come into my brain. But yeah, that one, I'm reading it. I don't know what to say about it though. I think I want a sticker. Okay. Pastel boxes. Let's do pink. Okay, so yeah, it's part of the Vicious Lost Boys series. I don't really know how I'm feeling about it, if I'm being completely honest. It's like, it's a dark fantasy romance, and it's definitely, sometimes there is not as much plot going on. And that always frustrates me. I like a book that has a large plot. These are really short books. These are like 200 and some pages, like under 250 pages. But the plot itself, I wish they would focus a little bit more on the plot, because I kind of am intrigued by the plot. So you have like Peter Pan, who is not like a good old boy. He like kidnaps all of like the new Wendy's, like Wendy's ancestors, because basically he's trying to find a shadow, and he thinks that they are going to have the key to that they know where it is based on like some memories or whatever like that. So that's what he does. So he's kidnaps Winnie, and that's kind of where it is. So you have like Peter Pan, you have a couple of Lost Boys that are kind of, and there's tons of Lost Boys in there, but there's two that are twins. And then you have Vane, who's kind of like the bad, he's not a bad guy, but he's like the big bad. He's like the big baddie in the story, who's like on Peter Pan's side, but he doesn't talk very much. You know, he can like, you know, hurt the real bad guys pretty easy type thing. But yeah, it's definitely like a wide shoes romance. So it's a lot of spice, and I'm not sure that I'm here for it, believe it or not. But I'm so intrigued by the story that I'm going to keep reading. And of course, there is a cliffhanger at the end. And we all know you can see the cliffhanger coming like halfway through the book. Maybe not halfway through the book. Maybe not that early in the book, but pretty darn close. So it wasn't like a surprise cliffhanger, but it just keeps you reading because you got to know what happens now. You're invested. And knowing that like these are all like really short novels, they're all like a couple hundred pages. It's kind of like, okay, well, even though I don't love the book, it's not like it's a long read. And they're good books to read in between other books. Like if I'm trying to finish another series, these are good ones that I like to pop in. Just because they are short. So I know they're not going to take me that long, and they are easy to understand. There's like, you don't have to do much thinking. There's not much thinking going on. There isn't like like the world, there is like some world building that goes on, but it's not super complicated. And you just learn enough about it in each book so you don't get overwhelmed with it. If you like these types of books, like the wide shoes, the smutty books, you probably would like it. I mean, it's not horrible. It just, I feel like it loses some of the plot. And I just want more plot. That's pretty much where it is. I think I gave this one 3.5 stars just because there was enough of intrigue. I think I actually like this one a little bit better than the first one. All right. So then from there, we have, I started reading a book. I'm going to jump ahead a little bit because I started reading a book that fits another buzzword challenge, which was measurements. And this is a book that I've had on my TBR, but I did not have it on my July TBR, but it was on my reading. It was on a TBR because I'm also doing the Reddit fantasy bingo. And one of their prompts was dreams. And this one is all about dreams. So it's called Between. It's about a girl who has not dreamed since she was like 5 years old, and now she's like 30. And she goes to this like small town somewhere, I think in the Midwest. I forget where it is. Obviously, it's not making that much of an impression on me. I'll give a full review of this, next month, but I've read enough of it that I can kind of tell you what I feel like. So she goes to a small town to take a teaching job, and her best friend goes with her. And her best friend, I absolutely love her best friend. It kind of reminds me, like her best friend is kind of like the comic relief. She like says all the funny things, and it just makes it really funny. Like I think it would be funny to listen to this on audio, at least when the friends part is up. But there's other parts of the book that I probably would not do on audio. I feel like I need a quote or something here. So, yeah, the friend is a hoot. I love her. I think she kind of makes the book. But all of a sudden, when they start getting here, she starts reading. I mean, she starts reading. She starts dreaming. I'm reading all these like quotes about reading, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, hold up, what? Yeah. So she starts dreaming, and like that's all exciting. And then there's like strange things that are happening. It's like, is her dreams real? Like, are they? It's kind of, it's kind of like one of those things, like what's going on. So, yeah, it's very interesting. There are witches. There are crazy mystical creatures. I think more of that's going to come out in the second part. So basically, I stopped. The book is almost... Do I really want Book Babe? I don't think I want Book Babe. So the book is kind of divided into two parts. Like there is another like section that like it almost seems like two books in one. And that's why I ended up, we'll do Book Lover here maybe. That's why I kind of stopped where I did. So I stopped at the one point, and now the book is going to take off with like from the male point of view. I guess the male main character. And they're going to be in this like other mystical world, so it's going to be completely different. But from what I did read some reviews, which I hate doing before I finish a book, but I think, see, I need something here. Do I just put florals and stuff here and books? So I'm kind of like, I hear that it kind of repeats, like some things are going to seem a little repetitive. Because he's going to retell things from his point of view. And that's why I stopped right there, because I don't want to DNF this book. I'm already 500 and some pages in. I cannot DNF this book. It cannot happen. So that's why I took a break. I will say at this point, the first half of the book, early on, I was probably going to give this book a 4 stars. Now I'm kind of going a little bit backwards because I think I started getting a little bit boring. I still enjoy it. I'm just not 100% sure if it's 4-star worthy. I think it's close to 4 stars. It's in the 3-star range, but it's pretty close to the 4. So we're gonna have to see. We're gonna have to wait and see how the second half of the book goes. That is gonna be what I'm gonna try to go ahead and finish. So that's what I'm gonna continue. I'm filming this on the 2nd, right? Yeah. I'm gonna try to finish that. Start reading that today. Again, and hopefully finish that soon, because I really do want to finish that, because there's a lot of books that I want to get to this month. And I'll talk about that in a moment. Yes, it doesn't seem like I'm speeding up things this time, does it? Sorry, guys. Hopefully I'll try to go a little bit faster. But the other book that I read Light Lark. It was not on my TBR. I don't remember why I read this. What made me want to read this? I think what I did is I'm like, oh, that sounds like a book I would want to read. So I added it to the Libby app waitlist, and it came through, and then I had to read it because there's other people on the list, which means if I deferred it, it would still be a long time before I would get it. So I'm like, okay, I'll go ahead and read it. I liked it. There is, so basically you have, I just read this and I'm already forgetting. So this is why I gave this one 3.75 stars. This is why I did not give it 4 stars, because you see, I'm already struggling to remember how many rulers there were. I think there were 6, 5 or 6. Just read it, just finished it yesterday and already forgot. Okay, I kind of like this. Why is that not sticking? Because it's on a sticker? All right, I kind of like this. I think it's cute. So I need to leave this here. We'll come back to this in a minute. I'm going to go here and start decorating it, and then we'll kind of be ready for the stats page. I think I can go ahead and take this page out. Let me just do that. All right, so you have these rulers of the different realm, and every 100 years they come together for, I guess, trials of sort, where they're like, they are trials. Basically each ruler gets to pick a trial that everyone will complete to kind of like, it can be any kind of trial that they want, but it's kind of like show off what you have, what your realm can do type thing, to try to earn like praise from those that are watching. But they all come together because there was a curse placed on everyone. And there's some that are definitely, I mean, everybody's cursed. There's some that are faring worse than others. And the reason why that they have this trial is that someone is supposed to die every 100 years. So the rulers got to get together and kill one of their others. And however, the thing is, it's not as easy as it sounds, because the one that you choose to kill, everyone in their realm will perish as well. So you're almost like, it's not like someone can just volunteer to be a sacrifice, because it's also detrimental for their people. Everyone will die. And then that should break the curse. However, this has been going on for a long time, and nothing's happened yet, because apparently it's a lot harder than you think to either make the decision of which one will be sacrificed or doing it yourself. And you have to wait. So it's like 100 days, and you have to wait until, I think it was the 50th day, before anyone can even be killed. Like it's a kind of, that's part of what I think makes it so much difficult, because now you're kind of like building relationships with people. But you'll read in this book, some people are not building relationships with people. So it's very interesting. I actually think I have a washi that's close to this color too. So yeah, that's the premise. You have your main kind of character, who's one of them. Now this is written, like, it's not written in first person. So I know some people will have some issues with that. I really didn't. I felt like it might have made it a little bit easier to kind of realize. I don't know. I enjoyed it though. I enjoyed it, but I didn't enjoy it enough to give it the full 4 stars. I thought it was going 4 stars. I would have told you it was going 4 stars all up until I finished the book. And there was definitely a big surprise at the end of the book, as far as someone's betraying them. And it's just kind of like, you know, when they're, you know that there's going to be a surprise, because early on, like, there's like a list of suspects, but like you can kind of tell it's probably not going to be that list of suspects. Hope I'm not spoiling anything. But I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm completely not doing this right, because I'm talking. So that was a shock. There were just some things about the ending I just didn't like. I think people will like a lot of the stuff that happens in the ending. I just didn't really like it. I think I was just kind of over it at that point. You know, there are just certain times where you're just like, I'm done. I'm done. I don't need any more. I'm completely done. Okay, I think I want us to actually pull some of the florals from the other one, from the other set. Yeah, I think that was the problem. I was coming up on the end of the month. I wanted to finish this darn book. I've been reading it too long. While it was exciting, it wasn't as action-packed as I thought it would be. I think that's probably the issue. As I expected it to be super action-packed, it really wasn't. There was more of like a journey, an adventure of them trying to find something. That's kind of what they're trying to find, something that could possibly break the curse. And that was kind of where everything went, versus much adventure or trying to escape death from another of the leaders type thing. So I think I was more into it for that, but you know, it was fine. It was fine. So yeah, I gave that one 3 3/4 stars. So that's kind of it. That was my reading month. All right. I need some books over here. Fortunately, I have books. I can actually do this though. That would be kind of cool. Or this. Doesn't matter. Now, I am still going to use my stamps. So you're going to see them come out in a minute. Sorry, guys, for those of you that are like, oh, no. I will speed through that. And then what I plan on doing, so I'm going to finish putting stickers down. I'm going to bust out my stamps so I can add stamps to this. Then I'm going to go back and I'm going to fill out my TBR if I can remember what I want to read. And then we're going to wrap it up. Okie dokie, there we go. So again, have a lot of boxes here. We'll see if I use them all. These are going to carry most of my stats. So these will carry like the same stats I've been doing over here. And then I think here's where I'm going to do my genre stats. Here's where I'm going to do my my average stars. I'll do any DNFs or to be continued type books. And then over here is where I'm going to do my favorites. So these are going to be stats. These are going to be favorites is how I'm kind of thinking about them. I've kind of been slacking on my favorites over in here. And then here's my like reads and my TBR. So I kind of like the way it's set up. Hopefully I will actually like fill this in. I will say one of the issues I'm having is I haven't been like filling it out as I've been reading. I've been waiting till like one time to do a whole bunch and I'm forgetting stuff. So I don't want to do that. And I just dropped my pen and I don't feel like picking it up. Okay, so for my TBR. So I put another book here, a box here for if I have any arcs or anything. So I'm going to look back. So there are some, I will say, when I look at my series, there it is. So when I look at this, like I had the Artifacts of Veranos and like the Trial of the Sun Queen was the first one. I like that one. Didn't like the second book as much. And I've been hearing some like things about the third book. I got it from the library and I just wasn't in the mood to read it. So I don't know when I'm going to be able to read it because it's no longer on Kindle Unlimited. I really need to read Zodiac Academy because it's the last book. I know the last book in the Plated Prisoner series is coming out and I need to read the one before. I need to read the 5th book. There's a lot of books I need to read. I'm still not sure when the last book of the Kendrick Curse saga is going to come out, but I'm going to be dropping everything to read that one because I'm really, really kind of wanting to do that. I really do need to work on these. So far I've only finished one series. I guess you could say I finished 2, 3, although I don't think these are completed series, but so I really need to get a move on that. Here's kind of like what I need to do. So the Plated Prisoner, Daughter of No Worlds, I'm not going to do Crescent City. Yeah, August 27th is when Goldfinch comes out. I'm just scared to read the 5th book because the 4th book and the Plated Prisoner series, I just didn't like that much. And I feel like if I read that, I'm just not going to be up for even reading the last book. It's tough, y'all. This is tough. Okay, so what I want to read. What do I want to read? So I need to finish between, I'm going to say Lady of Darkness. None of these were on my TBR. Are there any other TBR ones? Let's do The Emperor. That's been on there for a while. That is the 3rd book in the Dark Verse series. I really need to get back into these series. So maybe with that said, maybe I will go ahead and read, because I film on my phone, it's so hard for me to remember that. So yeah, I need to read book 3 of the Dark Verse series. I need to read Carnival Hill, which is book 3 in the Harlequin one. So I'm gonna write that one. And I think that's it. I'm gonna still put Burn of the Everflame over here. Put TBD. And then I'll put Goldfinch August 27th. And then I'll do... All right, so those are my releases. Those are like the releases or things that like I kind of want to get to, but I don't do that much for TBRs because I'm a mood reader. And a lot of times these are just ideas of, hey, I'm in the middle of a series, so these are next and I probably should read them. But because I'm a mood reader, they may get read, they may not. It's not really that big of a deal. But there we go. What do you think? I think I'm kind of liking this. I'm liking having the TBR over here and then the books to read over here. It's a little... gives me a little bit more room to decorate. It's a little bit more white space. This was horrible. It's horrible because I didn't fill it up. This one looks better. Even if I don't fill it out, at least it looks better. So I do like the way this turned out. We'll see how it goes, guys. We'll see how it goes. Like I said, I'm trying to figure out the type of things that I really want to record on my monthly. So it's my monthlies that are giving me the most trouble. I do think that next year what I may end up doing is instead of, I like having all of my book reviews back here and keeping them all together. I think that's fun. But the only problem is you have to actually pre-plan and figure out how many of these you want. So if I get into a groove and I know I only want like 4 pages per month and that's going to work, then maybe that'll work. But I could just do what a lot of people do and just like they do all of their setups up here and then they just start with the months and then just put all the books they read, they review it within that month. So like their month might be like 10 pages, depending on the books they review. It's just a lot easier to not have to pre-plan. So I got to figure that out. That's like the one thing I do have to figure out. So we'll see how I'm going to do it. That's why I'm kind of playing around with how I want to set up the monthlies. So that way I can kind of guesstimate how many pages I truly need for my monthly reviews. For my monthly recaps, to see if I want to start incorporating my reviews here, if I want to keep all my reviews separate. I still like having a series page. I just don't think I need duplicates. I think I can do 1 page and just do an overview of the entire series. I don't need this. This is a waste. I just need like something like this. Like this page right here is going to be the series review for the entire series. That's all I need for each one is a 1-page series review. I think that's how I'm going to do it next year, which will actually free up some more pages. So we'll see. I'm still toying with it because in all honesty, it's right around the corner and I'm going to need to know how to set it up, right? All right, guys. So I really hope you enjoyed this video of the reading recap and my August setup. If you did, please press that like button. And if you have yet to subscribe, I hope you would consider subscribing. That is all I have for now. I hope you have a good rest of your day, evening, or night. Until next time, bye.